Hello guys, so we're back again. Um, we'll continue building on the application that already started. So uh, I left it off where we're now configuring the configuring whatever just set up something. Okay, so yeah, the point of now making these imports quite easy. So if we come here and try to navigate, you'll see that we don't get any kind of auto complete. So uh, we need to make some adjustments to this so that Vue.js knows where to locate these when you're now building in white, and also make TypeScript aware of the type. So apparently we need to change 3 files. So that is to make Vite aware. So first we'll come to Vite, and then I think we had already added types node, but if we don't have them, we can add it using npm, of which you can use whichever package manager you so prefer. So we have types node, and now from here I need to add this line, resolve, then I add alias. So in here we'll have that, which will be pointing to we need to import file URL to path from URL. Then now we use this here. Then I will pass here we create a new URL. Then we pass .src. Okay. So that is now pointing to our source directory. Then now we pass import .meta .url. Okay. So it's apparently should be in here. Yeah. So it takes in the base, which is the URL or a string, then the URL itself. So once we've done that, now if we come back here, we'll see, let's try to navigate. I'm using Chromium. Try to navigate here. So you'll see we have an error. So with this error, we need to make some adjustments so that we get rid of this. So we can pass at components, but this is too much typing. So for us to realize this, the autocomplete, now we need to adjust our type configuration so that it's aware of the new paths. So we head over to tsconfig.json. Then you can see this is where now everything has been included. Then we are extending everything from tsconfig.node.json from this. So we are referencing everything else which has been added here and here at this point. But we can also add other configurations here. So let's add the paths here. So I'll just add a line here saying this is Aliasing. So we need these line paths. Then now we add our alias that you're going to use. So it will be @/star. Then now we pass an array. Then now we can just forward our src. Then pass star. So should be able to represent our source and everything else that follows from there. So if we like, we can also probably add, let's say, just configure something to duplicate selection, so that I have something to can duplicate easily. So if I have this, that means I can extend here with components. Okay. So here we have components. Okay. So that means with this, I can just come here and say at components. Okay. So then you see so this one will take precedence, but let's see. Can have this so that now I come and say that can just have the add components, then proceed to do that and everything else. But I will keep it high level. So if I save this, okay. So this is not resolved. So let's see. So we can add as many as possible. So whatever you configure here, you'll need to also adjust on this other end of it. So if I add this, then elect components. Okay. Add a comment here. So then if I come back, you'll see you have it here. So if you have so many of these, I think it will be kind of a lot. So we'll just keep it high level so that this now will stand for everything else. So I think I will remove this so that when you have this one from this and just return the art to be for all. So we started off with a banner, and this banner now is the one now representing our page. So with Vue.js, if you have a component, apparently there are several naming conventions. You can either use the Pascal or Kebab. So with this banner, I could just write it as banner and still it would work. And I can set close or just have that and still that will do. Doesn't affect anything. So we are supposed to manage tasks on this. So because this is the first page, I believe we can't have a single page. So we need a couple of these pages. And from last time, what we were talking about, we had a screenshot of whatever we wanted to achieve. Let's see. So this is what you're working with, and we're supposed to have a welcome page, the groups page, and the tasks page, so that we'll try to group this task based on groups and maybe priority. So let's proceed with that. So next thing I'll do is to add routing. So we can just navigate to view. So can click on get started. So this is now the installation. Come to npm add. So I'll just take this, come back to our terminal, test. Okay. This is now with creating the project. So I think it's this one. Test. So it's that easy to set up. So next, once you have that in place, what we can do is to come to our main. So main is the entry point to the application, and I didn't say this earlier. So this one now we import the CSS and we create our Vue.js instance. After creating that Vue.js instance, we import our app component, then we pass it to the create app, then we mount it on app. So this one hash app will represent whatever is supposed to, whatever the DOM element you are supposed to mount it on in the browser. So if you come to index.html, you will see we have a div which has the ID of app here. So if I have several of these, I think I had this on hidden. Fixed. Overflow hidden. Let me see. So if I have, I can try to just change this to that. So if I, so usually if you have, if you're working with IDs, it's usually the first element with that ID that will be picked if you're using the query selectors. So if I change this to class, okay, so you'll see we have nothing to showcase. But if now I come back to our main.ts, then we can change this to dot. You'll see it's still able to select and inject the properties on the DOM element. So let's just revert it to the way it was. Come back to, yeah, then I think main and index should be 80. Then everything should be working great. So what we need to do at this point, we'll need to create a router, and the router will now be managing the pages for us. So let's say just create a new folder here. So in the source folder, you can create a file directly, then it will mount a folder, or you can create a folder then add a file. I'll go with the let's say views, then maybe a landing page. View view. Okay. So we had installed snippets. I think it should be working. View. I don't know why we did this. I'm not sure why the snippets are not working. But I just start off with the template. So in this template, you can have a h1, then say landing page. So when you have a landing page, then the next thing is to try to show it to the browser. So next we need to create some instances of router. So I'll create a router here. Router, then you have an index dot tsx. This have it as ts, but you can also write tsx. I'll import. Let's just go through the documentation here. So getting started, then the app.view add this. Okay. So we need to copy this, come back here and paste. So we need to we have memory. There's a history router and let's see here, memory history, and we have hash. So whichever you prefer, we have hash. So we have web hash router or web hash history, or you can have web history. So the main difference between these is just one will have a leading prefix for the routes. So let's say we have we just have this single page, and this will be landing page view. So you can see now we can easily auto import this. So import this, and we'll use this memory instead. Then we can just export. Let's do it. Router. When that's done, then now we'll come to our main. I think as highlighted here. So we'll have the history modes. So hash mode, we use create web hash history, and we pass the routes. It uses the hash character before the actual URL that is internally passed. Okay, it doesn't require any special treatment on the server level. It doesn't, however, have bad impact in SEO. If that concerns it, it does have a bad impact in SEO. If that's a concern for you, use HTML5 history mode. So HTML5 history mode is using web history and is recommended mode. Okay. So this will look normal. I don't know. This memory mode. So it doesn't assume browser environment and therefore doesn't interact with the URL nor automatically trigger the initial navigation. This makes it perfect for node environment and SSR. It is created with great memories. It requires you to push the initial navigation after calling app.use. Okay. So this is just on something to deal with deployment. If maybe you're working on a cPanel, you'll have something of this kind where you tunnel all your traffic to index.html so that it serves everything. So there's one for Nginx. Yeah, so I don't think if okay, this is native node. Okay. Okay, so let's carry on. I think based on what we've had here, I think we need this in the router. reduce here. Now we come to main. Then we'll just say use router. So we import from router. So when we come back to our application, nothing has changed. But now I think I need to create app because app is equals to create app and password there. Then app dot use router dot mount. So that is still also practical. Yes, so with this, I think I'll prefer this over the other way. Let's see. So if we added the router, we need to show this router to the UI. So we'll come back to our app. So we'll remove the banner, then pass router view. Just see what we have in the documentation. Yep. Yeah, and I think it's working. It's okay. So when now you passed everything, so maybe just see nothing works. But if now I revert it back to router view, then now this should act as an outlet for now swapping the pages that you're having. So I'll just cut that, paste it in the landing page. Uh, then we can have a script section. With the setup. Which can either be JS, TS, TSX, whichever you prefer. Then now you can just probably paste this one here and pass our banner. And there we have it. Yep. So everything is working as usual. So let's say we need a page known as groups, task groups, views, view. Okay, so we can add the three ways. Not sure why this the snippets are not working. Let's see. Soft install. with this and just auto-complete through. Then I can see the previews here. We have a variety of ways of creating these view components. So I'll go with this, the TypeScript one, then just move this part to the top here. Okay, so that you can just have it as task groups. So as you have task groups, we can add a path, a route here, tasks. So I think this should be what needs to be passed here. A route should be route record row. So I will just take this and put it in here. And import that, and you see now we have autocomplete for this. We have path. Then I can name this groups. So from a group, then I will have tasks. So component will be task groups. Yeah. So if now I come to, let's call it landing page components, then getting started will change to router link. Okay. I'm not sure whether we have the right definitions for this. So we need to add something here, types, then view, wait, and I'm sure that way. Let's get back here. Just refresh this window. So with this, usually in vuejs we have a two. We can have it as two string like that. Then say groups. Then if I get started, then you can see we have just groups. So another way we can do this is to now pass a name, which will be task group. Then this will be landing page. Okay. This will be the name. So instead of using the URL there, I can just go to this page, then bind the two, make it an object, then pass the name as this. then this should be able to still work. I see. Say aliases. Let me just confirm something. Let's see. Redirect and alias. So let me see. So alias redirect means user visits home there and will replaced by this. Then matched as this. But what is alias of this as this means user visits home there it remains home, but it will be matched as if the user is visiting this. The verb can be expressed. Okay. So okay, we can have multiple of myself. Number views. Interesting. What I'm looking for is programmatic application. We have router link. Oh, I had this wrongly put. So to get back here, now you'll see we have groups. So I think it's working. So and if in case you needed some parameters on the same, let's say you want to have groups, then you can pass group ID, let's say 6, it's the ID. Then now if we come back here, you see it will be broken. And if we try to just zoom in a bit on the console here, I'll see we no match found for location with path groups. So for us to change that, you need to come to this, add params. Okay, then say ID, maybe its value is 6. So then if we go back to get here, you'll see we have around 6 at the bottom, and if you navigate, you'll see we have now task groups appearing. That is sorted. So there's just a lot of things you can do with the navigations, but let's try a hash. We can add an alias, which will be an array. Then I can say home, or we add maybe app, home app, so that if now I navigate to /home, should be able to read as if I'm accessing the home. If I try the app, then I would see it's loading as if I've loaded the index page. So that's how you can use the aliases. So some other thing that maybe someone would want is to lazy load. So that's quite a bit of advanced, but in the documentation here, you can see if you want to lazy load, then this is how what you do. I will pass okay. So Vue supports dynamic imports out of the box, meaning you can replace static imports with dynamic ones. Okay, replace this with this, and or use it directly in the route definition. Okay, so which was cleaner? I think this was cleaner as compared to this. Grouping components in the same chunk. So also you can pass a chunk name. Yeah. So let's see how to do this. Invite, you can define the chunks under rollup options. Interesting. So okay, let's okay. I never knew this worked. Interesting. So instead of passing the component directly like this, we can do a lazy load, lazy import. So we pass a function. So this function now will do the import. Then now we pass our views landing page. Yep. And we get rid of that. Then the same we'll do to this at the end. So this is not landing page. We can put groups, task groups. And then you can just get rid of this. So this is quite cleaner as compared to the other one where you do the inputs in the other direction. So another thing, you can also have nested versions. So if now you want to nest items, then now I think we can add tasks. So I think I need to create a folder known as tasks. Okay. I have two groups. Then in the groups, we'll have our task groups. Okay. Then inside here we can have children. Yes. So we can have our children. In the children now we can have so this is just the way I like putting the folders, nesting them. If in case you are someone who is if you're going to be working with something like Next, then the convention is usually using file-based routing. So that means you'll need to use the files to do the routing. So to just add here maybe a task view. Then we can do a setup v3 setup, push this to the top, then beautify and h1 say yes. So with that, if we go to, we have our banner there, task view, we have tasks. If you come back to our router, I can add children. So in the children, we'll add a path to children tasks. Okay, so we'll have task, then component will be an import of import at component views. Then I will pass groups, we pass the children, and after the children we have task view. So if now here is where another part of named routes usually come into play. You'll expect that if I'm going to be navigating to the tasks page, I'll need to pass groups, ID, and what and so on. So Vue makes it really easy. So what you do is to just take the name. So the name, then we say task. Okay. So let's get back to the documentation here. Nested routes. So you can see user journey. Then now you render this. Okay. So for each segment you'll be working with, you need to pass the router value. So let's see. So as opposed to something like React, where you have to pass the base and every other thing, this will automatically prepend the parent route to the child. So on this, then now we can just add when I come back here, I have the task. So then what now I can do is to maybe get back to router link. Then I can change this to task. Okay. So once I change that to task, you'll see when we come back to this app, then now the route will be pointing to the, it will take me to task groups. Okay. So the reason why it's taking me to task groups is because in the task groups we said the children, okay, it is rendered alongside the children. So let's see this. So if you have a primary route, it's at this level. Let's say dashboard. So you have a dashboard. So when you have a dashboard, usually what happens is you'll have something like a sidebar, and you'll have whatever is displayed alongside it, and maybe the header. So whatever you have on the sidebar will be common to all, and the header will also be common to all. So meaning, if now you take a dashboard and you need to display anything, these ones will remain static, and this is the one which will now be generic. So for us to be able to display that, we need to come to our task groups. Then we add a div here and say we have a router. Router, yeah. So that when you come back here, you'll see now we have a task. So that's with the nested routing. It's just this one of building the pages. So for those who are just joining, you can, you're welcome. So that's it with building the pages. And maybe to simulate on how this works, we navigate to click sources. So if I come to groups, unit, see everything is okay. The network, link network is a display to check the JS. So if we go back home, let's see, we refresh, you see we get app is mounted, the data is mounted, page.component. Okay, so we have mounted the landing page, but we haven't yet added the we haven't added the task page. So if I click on get started, you'll see at that point is when I will add the task groups. That's when I will load the task groups. So that's the thing with lazy loading the routes. So instead of directly importing them, you can do the dynamic imports, and Webpack will do the auto chunking so that you don't load up all the JavaScript in one go. That will kind of optimize on the what will that optimize? It will optimize on the bundle size. So if you load a page, you don't need to load the whole JavaScript. So it will load pages per request, and that will ultimately make your site a bit faster. So I think it's quite late from this end, and I will continue from here next. So what we've done is to just create a simple routing for the application. So we'll now continue building on the pages, and I think we've already seen the dynamics of how this will be done, and hopefully we'll complete it very fast. So thank you guys. Let me get some sleep, then I think we'll connect tomorrow and continue the. So what I'll do is we just initialize a repository, then commit to this, and then I think I'll publish to GitHub so that we so public. So this is on GitHub. So we'll continue from there. Thank you for those who joined.